amigos, amigas from Ajijic and the Lakeside area here in Mexico. And I'm going to talk a little bit about my beginning stages, and I always am in early stage Spanish speaking. Still in the early stage, I consider myself much better than when I first came to Mexico, where I knew pretty much nothing. But um, I'm not a stranger to foreign languages, but I did take a language course in high school, did well for a couple semesters, not Spanish. I wound up going, when I was in the service, I went to the Defense Language Institute in Monterey, California, spent 9 months there in another language, not Spanish, and I graduated from there, got a certificate from there for 9 months of study. Um, Wound up taking a Spanish course one semester when I was in my 20s. I came out of the service. I wound up taking a Spanish course um, and one semester, and I did good with the workbooks, and I had the big, thick book, and then there was a workbook associated with, it, and did good, got good grades, and I was saying, oh, okay, it's good for my grade point average, but I didn't practice it enough. I just didn't get out there and do it. So I forgot everything, whatever I learned, but caught a few words, simple stuff. When I came, I was, as a retiree and a pensionado, about 4 years ago, I went to Cuernavaca for a week with a friend of mine. He was taking his mother back there. She was going back to live in Cuernavaca and take care of her mother. Her mother was in her 90s. And so my friends suggested when I go back, because I wanted to go back to Cuernavaca, I was going to go back for 30 days. But I had a 6 month visa and I was going to go back 30 days. I booked it. Uh, 30 days at the same hotel I was at the first time. I was there for 7 days. But I decided to leave Cuernavaca. Now, I've been practicing some with some of the waiters a little bit. They were helping teach me. The hotel clerks, they spoke English and Spanish. So the hotel clerks really knew a lot. And, uh, and some of the waiters had been up in the U.S., so they could help me along a little bit, but really didn't learn enough. But I learned one thing. In Cuernavaca, I wanted to get out of that Ola stage. I was enough. If that's what you can use it. But people were responding Ola. Many people, the Mexican people, were responding Ola back to me. But then there were many who were saying, like, if it was the morning, I'd say Hola, and they'd say Buenos dias, and if it was the afternoon, I would say Hola and greeting, and they'd say Buenas tardes, and if it was the evening, I was saying Hola, and they'd say Buenas noches. So I think that they were kind of teaching me right there that I could use another way to greet people. The Hola's cool, but there's also another way to greet people, and I noticed what they were doing. But I wound up going to San Miguel de Allende, and uh, this is during my first snowbird season. I'm going to San Miguel de Allende from Cuernavaca, and I had a neighbor. She's from the States. Her and her husband are expats. They own a home there. They're renovating it. And being that she was a Spanish teacher up here in the States, I was telling her I was taking a lot of taxis, and she says, "Oh, I'm going to give you a few words, just 3 words when you're dealing with these taxis. It'll make it easier for you when you're giving them directions on where you want to go and things like that." And she said derecho for straight ahead, derecha for going to the right, izquierda going to the left, and so I learned that, and that was useful. And then I talked to them. Some of them were worked in the U.S. They were up and back and forth to the U.S. and they learned some English. So, but still, those 3 words are helpful in caps. But I'll tell you one most important word for me when I got off the planes, and or like if I couldn't get to the bathroom on the plane or anywhere where I was going in Mexico was baño and bathroom and or sanitario. I use the restrooms, and so that was a cool one too. So while I was in San Miguel de Allende, there was a guy gave me a printout. He was going. I met him. He said he was studying Warren Hardy, and he really loved it. But I said, "Well, can you give me a printout of those papers you showed me?" And he made Xerox copies of 3 papers. They had the numbers, and of course, for me to study better and learn. It had the numbers and the days of the week and a few other things, some verbs, but I still wasn't. I needed more, and I'm not saying I'm at some high level because I'm not nowhere near what I should be or could be according to me. I want to keep growing, so but I'm not at some great stage yet or anything like that, and I know, and so I'm not trying to sound like I know a lot, but I'm just telling you how I learned and my progress. And and I hope it'll help somebody. Well, whatever little I know, but I had that sheet, those sheets of paper, but I still want to get a little more. And someone said, "Well, go to the Biblioteca on Insurgentes in Centro. There's a big biblioteca. There are other bibliotecas, but there over there you can get a Spanish teacher." And I went there, talked to the director, and she assigned a Spanish teacher for me. And I had 4 lessons there. She was a wonderful lady. She knew English pretty well, and I had notebooks. I was taking notebooks and starting to get into the verbs. And then she gave me a children's book to take back with me to the U.S. and try and learn more. So I was up in the U.S. for 6 months. I just glanced at it a little bit, and but not enough, and didn't study it or practice it much. So I came to Ajijic. I was supposed to go to San Miguel de Allende again for the second snowbird season. And she said, always call me if you come back here. We can resume lessons. And I said, cool. But I wound up coming to Ajijic, and when I came to Ajijic, I didn't really put enough into it. I took the little I learned. Now, one thing I started learning in maybe Cuernavaca a little bit, but more in San Miguel de Allende, was going to coffee shops and ordering coffee. I'll be honest, I mean, I'm not a big lattes or anything, so I drink Americano. Americano cafe, por favor. And I always throw a please when I ask Mexicans for something. Y leche y azúcar, milk and sugar, please. And vaso agua or bate agua. I'm not going to pronounce everything perfect, but a lot of them know, and they're patient with my improvement. And then I learned how to get my bill. And I'd say, La cuenta, por favor. And I found por favor is a pretty good word to use too. And gracias, of course. But I started learning more and more and more in Ajic a little bit. When I even more, I extended that to Ajic, but I really didn't learn some, but I could have done better. I learned mostly vocabulary. I didn't get into the verbs like I could have. There was a lot of vocabulary. But I went back up to the States and I stayed 18 months. And I didn't come back for the third. This is my third snowbird season. Because of the pandemic, I stayed up there and never really reviewed my notes too much. Kept in touch through using Spanish translator with some people in Mexico, but um, I just I was getting to the point I was coming here, and a good buddy of mine said, "Why don't you do Duolingo?" And I was listening to YouTubers talk about rocket language or something, but he said, "Try Duolingo. It's a lot of repetition," but he says I used it, and this guy's a pretty smart guy, so I think I'll listen to him. And I started doing Duolingo the month before I came here. So I started this past August, and I was doing it not every day, but I was doing it pretty frequently, and I enjoyed it. It's kind of repetitious, but he told me it'd be repetitious, but I liked it a little bit. And then I came here, and after I got here, a friend of mine here, his girlfriend said, "Wow, you really improved since the last couple years." When she first met me, and I said, "Wow, your English has improved too." So that was kind of cool. And I'll tell you what, if you tell Mexicans that they're doing well or they're doing pretty good at their Spanish, they really, oh, thank you. They take the compliment. That's a good compliment to give them. But anyway, I since I've been back here, I first started when I first got back here. I think I was doing some Duolingo again, and I kind of dropped off. And I got to pick it up again. I want to pick it up again because you can always all get better and better. And then I found out one of my neighbors, she said she did Duolingo every day for a year before she came to Mexico, and it helped her a lot. Now I know there's immersion courses. My friend tried to tell me, not my friend who took me to Mexico with his mother. He said, "Here's these immersion courses you can get into in Cuernavaca. Man, you really it's cool. You study with people and you kind of learn also about the culture and the food and language and different things and I just didn't want to do that yet, anything like that. But I mean, I went through those stages I just described from the beginning of this video. I was getting a little better that way. And I do know, like I said, I think if I mentioned right, my Spanish teacher I met in Cervantes, she was for 4 lessons up in San Miguel de Allende to Biblioteca. Good price, too. She, and I was going to continue with her, but I wound up coming on now. Since I've been back, I also noticed I knew the first time and there are, and for those who want to use it. I'm going to go back into Duolingo a little bit, but there are introductory courses here at the LCS, and there's also I think intermediate, and who knows, maybe I'll get into something, over there at some point. But right now, I'm going to get back and start going back into Duolingo and start doing that. And I do know how to hold conversational Spanish. Some conversational Spanish. I can, and it's any when I go out and I practice it. Even if I know if a Mexican person is speaking to me in English, I try to speak in Spanish, and they kind of sense when to use it and when not, and help me out and let me practice. And they allow me to practice what little Spanish I do know, and uh, and sometimes they'll correct me in nice ways and things like that. Yeah, I've gotten better and I made progress in the last 4 years. Now, am I where I want to be, or I wish I could be? No, or what I should or could be, or but no. But I'm making progress and I'm not giving up, and I'm going to continue to grow and I do practice it. I still use the Google Translate, but nowhere near as much as I did when I was in San Miguel de Allende or here in Ajijic, I still use it, but often I use that when I really, really need to. But I try not to, but I do it when I absolutely have to use the Google Translate. So I'm getting better. I made a lot of progress, I think, and I think I'm doing well. I'm gonna continue to use it out there. And the more I spend time outside with amongst the Mexican people, the more I'm learning, and the more I'm practicing, and they'll help you too. So there's different ways you can learn. I mentioned some of them, and some of them I did use, and some of them I didn't use. And there's also some I could always use. So with that, I'll just cut this video short. Thanks for letting me share this information. Maybe I helped someone who was newer. There was once that came here, and if you want to get out of that old stage, it's okay. Like I said, it's cool, but eventually you might want to, you know, you start using more, or learning more. And I did too. And I'm not up there, you know, I'm just growing in the process and I'm getting along better. But so it's fun. It's also fun. It's also enjoyable. The better you get, the more it's like, yay, hey, hey, hey. Even those little accomplishments, they start adding up. And now I can understand some of what the people are saying, comprehend it. I can comprehend something. Not there. I can't sit around a whole bunch of Mexican people and understand what you know, but I can understand some things, comprehend some things, and communicate some and have some conversational Spanish with them. So I'm happy to say that, and please subscribe to this channel. Um, Give it a thumbs up, and any questions or comments, please load them up. And once again, and there are ways you can learn Spanish here in Mexico. It's different ways. Choose your method or what you feel comfortable doing, and try it out. So thanks. It's opened a lot of doors. It's already opened doors for me, but there's more doors that are going to be open, traveling and things like that. And so I'm going to continue to practice and learn. So with that, I'm going to cut this video, and thanks for letting me share my experience. I hope something I said could help someone else. Thank you. Oh, this afternoon, so I'll say buenas tardes, hasta luego. Have a great day. Thanks.